everybody. I am Jessica Koch with Jessica Koch Consulting, and this is another interview on Profound Professional Interview Series. I founded this series several years back. I really wanted to promote and feature industry leaders, CEOs, authors, speakers globally who were really doing some things that were innovative and different in their industry. I also love to promote and help support those people who are not just really flipping things around in their space, but they are also touching their community and the world at large in a better way, in a bigger way, and bigger than themselves. Today, my guest is an award-winning Hollywood actor. You heard me. He is a star. I have a star on my show today. He's also a producer, and he currently lives in the most definitely entertainment capital of the world, the amazing, sparkly, lit up Vegas. Las Vegas is his home, and he is a creator of a charity, Stars Among the Angels, where entertainment meets education, which I love that tagline. In addition, he's also the founder of the Las Vegas Television Network. So please welcome Jon Fondy. I'm so happy to have you today on my show, Jon.
Well, thanks so much for that great introduction. No wonder I'm so tired.
I know, all those things, right? And so much more. You actually won some awards even and things on with your show and some of the acting that you've done when you were on some shows. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'd really like to start with where you're from and a little bit of your story and journey that led you to Vegas. Are you from Las Vegas, or where were you born?
Well, no, I'm from Southern California,
Mm.
and I grew up in San Bernardino, about 2 hours from Los Angeles. And so I was a business guy. And so I was in business at a young age. And all of a sudden I thought to myself, I can do this when I get older. I want to figure out something I can do that's going to be fun and something that's going to be different every day and something I can do well into my older years as well too. And so all of a sudden something popped into my head, and so I jumped into my white Cadillac convertible in Palm Springs, put on my sunglasses, threw a white scarf around my neck, and I drove into Hollywood. And I said, "Hollywood, I'm here."
Oh my goodness. Well, it was in your backyard practically. So tell us about Hollywood.
Well, Hollywood said, "So what?" And so I really learned the paces. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just didn't know much about the industry. I just knew that it would be fun and it would be something different in my life. And so I started learning the business from the ground up. I didn't have any relatives. I didn't take drama when I was in school. And so I just kind of just jumped into it. And lo and behold, it turned out to be a really good career. When I say career, there's a difference between, there are some people that are stars, but they really don't have a career. And I really wanted a career. And so that's what I got out of it, So I got some great opportunities and had some good fun.
Well, you jumped and you landed pretty darn well. So tell us about what you did for a while in the space of Hollywood.
Well, because I was a business major in school and had management skills, I was able to get a job as most people get a job as a waiter, if you will. And I thought, well, I'm beyond that. So I got a job as a night manager at a restaurant, which would leave my days open to go to school, go to classes. That's the other thing when you're in Hollywood, you're always taking some kind of a class. And because classes are generally taught by casting directors, and casting directors like to hire their students. And so that's basically sort of what I did. And then I landed my first commercial as Jordache jeans model.
Ooh. That means he's got a good butt, girls, just in case you were asking.
Speaking of having a good butt, I'm single in Las Vegas, so that doesn't help. And of course, doing 2 miles every day always keep our health up,
That's right.
our mental and physical side of it.
That
And
youthful Hollywood glow in Vegas.
that is true. So yeah, I was just really thrilled and very fortunate uh, to uh, to be able to work and finally just realized that this was going to be my career. So I spent 20 years in Hollywood, kind of went on to actually be a director and a producer, and then decided I didn't want to be in LA anymore, and so that kind of made me just start looking around for what I really wanted to do or what else I wanted to do.
So in your time in Hollywood and your time doing production and producing, what kinds of things did you produce? What kinds of maybe movie stars did you meet? Come on, give us some more. Give us all the dirt.
Sure, absolutely. It was the one thing I noticed is that the bigger the star in Hollywood, the cooler that they were. It was the people that were up and coming that kind of thought they were all that and everything like that. And it's like, I didn't have time for that stuff. It's just, let me do my job. And the biggest and my most best thing that ever happened to me is I had a chance to work with my idol, and that's Clint Eastwood.
Oh, awesome.
So I worked with Rene Russo and John Malkovich on the movie In the Light of Fire, which was unusual because I mostly did television work. And I have to tell you, he is the funniest guy. He's just great to be around, just one of those superstars of the industry. And lo and behold, everything goes full circle. I'm now working with his daughter, Allison, on a animal rescue project out of Calabasas, California. So I'm so blessed to be involved with that as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So tell us about some of the television shows you produced.
Well, I produced a lot of commercials and things of that nature when I was in Hollywood. Did a lot of corporate stuff as I was kind of learning how to be a producer and learning how to be a director. Where I really started getting into my groove was when I moved to Las Vegas, and so in my quest through the 20 years in Hollywood and now 20 years in Vegas, um, I produced over 1,500 television shows and over 750 live events. And this is everything from reality shows. I, for some reason, became the go-to guy from France. So people love to do reality shows in Las Vegas. And so French production company came over here. Somebody said, call Jon Fondy. And they called me to do a French reality show. And we did 30 episodes in 30 days. I didn't speak a word of French at all.
I was going to say, parlez-vous français? The answer is nein, and no, and nit.
They all spoke English pretty good, and they were really nice. And being in Vegas as long as I would, it's it's not what you know, it's who you know and who can get a door open for you here in Las Vegas. And that's why I was kind of the go-to guy, because I really started when I came to Vegas. I made the mistake of watching Goodfellas. I made the mistake of watching The Godfather, and I was scared to death when I moved to Las Vegas because, Jessica, you know me well enough now that my personality is right on the edge, which could put me right out into the desert. So. But it all turned out really good. I really did a lot of community service when I was here, and the Las Vegas took me under its wing and really made it a great life for me. I will never ever go back to Hollywood again. That's how wonderful it is to be here in Las Vegas, and I'm still having the time of my life. Cue the music.
You know, reality shows have really become popular, and they were really had a height, and I think they were on, everywhere, but now they've kind of melded into just our mainstream. We don't even realize half the time, oh, this would be considered a reality show. Oh, this would be because there's just so many, from home improvements to cooking to travel to, there's just this whole new space that's melded into our television programming from you know, whether it's on Netflix or Hulu or wherever we're watching it. They have unique shows to them. Can you tell us a little bit more about, you know, what it's like to be a TV producer, and what you have the LVTN, so if you could give us a little bit of a description of what that's like, and really, can someone have an idea and produce a show, right? Can you help us, walk us through some of that?
Yeah, sure. And I'll just step back a moment before I answer that question. I had heard something this year about the Emmys. This is the first year on the Emmys where they had very little episodic and dramatic awards that were giving out for television this year. Uh, so we kind of don't know where it's going. And I wish I would have bought stock in Zoom. That's all I can tell you now. And but nevertheless, a TV producer, there's three types of television producers. There's the executive producer, there's the senior or the producer, and then there's the associate producer.
Mhm.
And the executive producer is kind of the guy that puts up the money or is in charge of the money, and he may or may not be involved in the day-to-day operations. Then you've got the producer, which is what I do, and it's really kind of a high-paid, glorified babysitter.
With the clipboard and the chair with the
Yeah,
name on the back.
and so I'm in charge of the money, and in charge of making sure the money is spent properly, and in charge of making sure the creativity stays along the lines of what we determined was going to be there in the beginning, so the show ends up the way it started out, or we got certain approvals to make changes. And then the associate producer, basically there could be 2 or 3 associate producers, and their job is to handle the day-to-day workings of the different departments and those things. And so as a producer, I didn't know what I wanted to do on the not in front of the camera side of it. So I just did everything. And I think that's what made me a good producer, because I did every job that there was on the set. Now, not necessarily the best, but at least I knew how to do it. And I think 2 things make me a great producer. One is I know all of the ins and outs of the business. And number 2, I've made every mistake that there is in the book. So we've
Well, I
learned from
would
it.
add a third to that, John, because one of the things that really stood out for me about you was that you also can pick up the phone, and if, you know, a guy needs this, that, or the other thing, you have the ability to, you know, reach out, find the person who can make that happen. So your connections and I mean, for lack of a better term, your Rolodex, if you would, right? Your contact database, whatever the modern term is now for that, that makes you really, really sought after in your industry and what you do, whether it's in Vegas or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, it's all about 2 degrees from Kevin Bacon. And that's what we
I
do.
think I was told recently it was 6, but I'm a LinkedIn girl too, so I always say it's 3 because, you know, now with social media and the global deal, I think everybody's just about, you know, 3 spaces from each other. So,
It's all about I know a guy that knows a guy, and
mhm,
that gets you underway. So you're right. It does. There is a lot of value there, and that's why I get
mhm.
called to do a lot of location work here in Las Vegas. Or sometimes people will call and ask the name of an attorney or ask the name of uh, of a somebody.
Where can I get a couple of camels? Do you know somebody who hangs from the ceiling at a Vegas show on a, you know, trapeze that we could hire for XYZ movie? Like, I think you could answer all those questions.
You're about 22 minutes away from 8 of the most beautiful camels in Las Vegas. So you got your camels already.
That is too funny. I just made that up. I knew you were the camel guy too. Somehow. All right. Tell us about LVTN, and also how to take our show from an idea to a production, and how can people, everyday real people, work with you potentially?
Sure. Well, the Las Vegas Television Network, it's all Vegas all the time. So it's Vegas-centric programming. And essentially, I've been producing programming for years, and all of a sudden realized I had enough of this Vegas content. And because everybody, I mean, there is 40 million people a year that come to Las Vegas. So I thought to myself, why not take Vegas to 300 million people, that they could basically make a trip to Vegas from their couch in their living room, if you
I
will.
tell you what, that's some forethought, because as right now, the world of COVID, I know people in the travel industry who are just virtually taking people on vacation at this point to have them travel and see different places to entice and encourage and excite them enough to want to travel there. So your idea is one that was very intuitive of our world situation. So is there a way for you to show us some more details or talk to us a bit more
let
about
me go
that?
ahead now, and if it's okay with you, if I do a little
Yeah.
screen sharing here. So this is, we're a full service production company, which means we can shoot it and we can distribute it, which makes us in the top 1% really in the world, because most people either distribute programming or they produce it, but they don't do both. And that's the one thing that we basically do, is our tagline that you can see up here at the top, you may not be able to read it, but it says, from napkin to network distribution. Because all ideas start on a napkin, and then the whole goal is to get them out to the viewing public, if you will. And so that's what we do. So basically, this is the network.
This is the Las Vegas Television Network. It's all Vegas, all the time.
And yes, that was me.
It's awesome.
And so this is what the network basically looks like. This is playing live right now, and I'm kind of talking loud because there's stuff on there, but
Right.
and I don't even know where I could turn that
Press
down.
pause. You just press pause.
But
There you go.
And it worked well.
okay.
Now we've got it.
And so this plays just like a regular television network. So you would turn it on, and it would play. We have a TV guide, and this particular show, Ultimate Combat Experience, that's a mixed martial arts show, and we do a lot of reality shows, a lot of sports, a lot of concerts, a ton of behind the scenes thing where we'll take people on places in Las Vegas they've never been before. Our show Destination Las Vegas will basically take people to stuff they never even knew existed in Las Vegas. And so that's basically, where we distribute it's called linear programming. And now I'll take you over here to Binge Networks here. And Binge Network is a video on demand. So essentially you can see our channel here, and you can open up that channel, and it will then give you selections of different shows that you would want to watch. This is one of our newest shows, The Model and the Hollywood Mob Boss, which is an actual ex-Playboy Played Bunny, centerfold, and an ex-Mafia Gambino crime boss, if you will.
Oh my.
So this is
There's a story for you. There's an idea from a napkin.
That is true. This show here is your Beagle Legal. This is the show we're going to have you on, Jessica. And this is the who's who of Whoville come on this show, and it's the influencers of the world and stuff like that. So, I'm going to go ahead now and go back, and I'll answer your question right now. I'm gonna go ahead and come off of screen share. So yeah, so if somebody wanted to get their show onto our network, essentially they would contact you. and you would, because you know a guy that knows a guy,
I do know a guy.
and that's how we would put it together. So whether it's and the great thing now there are several Zooms platforms that are out there, and some are a lot better than others, and we use those platforms. Or everybody loves an excuse to come to Las Vegas, and
That's right.
we're on the campus of UNLV here where our studios are. We've got 4 beautiful studios here and all the equipment. And I have a chance to work with the students. And so they get a credit, they get real Hollywood experience, and I give them a little paycheck as well. So it's really
That's right.
beneficial to me. Um,
So
and
just
so,
to clarify, there are several different options of how to work with you. So they can actually physically come to Vegas and have their different shows and ideas physically produced in that format and recorded. But the other option, as the world has gone so virtual, that you could be on the other side of the globe right now or in any of the other countries, and you could reach out to me to connect you to John, because I know a guy, and you would be able to do something from a virtual standpoint. So produce a show similar, maybe not like this, but using some technology that they wouldn't have to fly in to the studio. So you can serve people in a couple of different ways. Is that correct?
well, there is, and there's a process that goes through it. And so the way the process works is there is the development phase. That's where you kind of take the napkin, if you will, and write out on the napkin and stuff. Um, and then you've got your pre-production phase, which is figuring out how you're going to shoot it, where you're going to shoot it, how you're going to shoot it. Then you've got your production phase, and that's when you're actually shooting the whole project. And then you've got your post-production phase of editing all the little pieces together to turn it into a regular television show. And then we've got several different ways we go, because we either can distribute the show ourselves through our Zoom platform or our Tiki Live platform, or we've got people out there that are calling us looking for shows and looking for different genres, which is kind of cool because you could say to me, John, I want a gardening show with a 7-foot tall basketball player, and I could develop that show, and shoot it and deliver it to you. And we can also place shows on other networks like Hulu and Discovery Channel and ESPN and BET and all kinds of different channels for different products as well.
Now, what about television commercials? So what if I just wanted to either, maybe not an official, television commercial where the car salesman is out in front of the car saying everything must go. Maybe not that kind of a car, maybe more of a educational piece of information on how my business works, or how I became a speaker or an author or coach, or what I'm doing to support my customers. And, so maybe it's not a show, but maybe it's a piece about me that is stronger than, say, an infomercial or that car salesman with the cutout cardboard that looks like a Star Wars shouting, and we've slashed all our prices. Low, low, low.
It's true, and I came up with this product. I was a newscaster for about 15 years in Hollywood as well, and so I came up with a product of where people would actually come. They would pay me a little bit of money, and I would basically kind of do an interview with them on the show. So obviously, being interviewed on a news broadcast brings credibility to you, and so what we basically do is kind of get from zero to credibility as quick as we possibly can. Right. So we can create what I call infotainment. And that is
I love that. Infotainment. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That was said by Jon Fondy on my amazing interview series show, Profound Professionals, just saying. Infotainment. Love it.
And so then, so it now becomes an educational program, and there's a lot more educational programs that are working out in the the arena, and that's what we do is try to we we try to make you the focus of the show and give so you can give out information.
Mm,
And the great thing about that is there's a in the marketing world, that's what my master's degree is in marketing,
mhm.
is the law of reciprocity.
Right.
And the law of reciprocity is if I give you something that's valuable to you, there's a good chance you're going to feel like you want to return that favor. And that's a great way to build customer base as well.
Favorite law ever.
Yes.
Works so well. I teach it all the time, and I'm an extreme practicer of it. Extreme reciprocity. There's a show. There's a title for a
That is
show.
true. I always say that, you're going to feel so much better about yourself once you start giving of yourself.
Mhm.
And that's the second part of the love that I have is I've been doing children's charities now for 40 years. I started with the March of Dimes in
Well,
Hollywood.
I was just going to ask you a bit more about that, but before we approach and jump into that, if you want to be a Vegas star or a TV star, or really just provide some amazing TV or show like work with an educational spin on it, I'd really love for you to reach out to Jon Fondy. I think that a conversation, a collaboration, an exploration of what's possible could be really exciting for you and your business and scaling it to the next level. Before we move into my other favorite part of my series and talk about your cause and your charity, can you share is there anything that we missed, something I didn't cover, something you want to let them know is coming up, or that we didn't talk about in connection with your studio?
Well, the great thing about uh, the opportunities that we have out there is that there is not. I'll take a phone call from anybody, and the reason for that is because you may call me and say, John, I want to talk to you about stewed tomatoes. And it's like, I have no idea why I'm going to talk to you about stewed tomatoes. But if we just kick the can around a little bit, uh, eventually something comes out of it, and in many cases it's a direction that we never thought we would go in because we get to know each other a little bit better, and as we do, that's what started. So we may never talk about stewed tomatoes again, but we may be on to the next big thing, as Donnie Deutsch would say.
Well, wasn't there a show, Fried Green Tomatoes? I mean, like, obviously we could, anything could go. Anything goes. There's another show called that too, right? Anything goes.
That is true.
So moving forward, this amazing person, this accomplished individual, also gives back in a really special way. Stars Among Angels, where entertainment meets education is just such a beautiful phrase. Can you tell us why you originally started it? What does it do? How does it help people? And of course, in the description of this YouTube video, or if you're finding this on a LinkedIn article or on a website, we'll make sure all the links for everything we're talking about and ways to reach us will be there. But for now, can you just talk to us about how you started this idea or decided you wanted to do this?
Well, sure. Like I said, I've been doing charity work for 40 years, and then I decided, I think in learning the charity business, and it is a business. It's monetary, it's psychological, it's emotional, and in learning the business of nonprofits and charities, I found out that children and seniors, they are the most that are reached out to in the terms of in the terms of charities and
Sure.
stuff. And what basically happens is in most areas, this is nationwide, when a child turns 18 years old, they're emancipated from the system, meaning they don't get any help, they don't get any money, they don't get any assistance. And I remember when I was 18 and I
Now,
had
this is the foster care system or
it's
just,
the foster care system or the protective systems that are in these communities. And if they're not adopted into a family, that's when they lose all of their benefits, if you will. And I know that's when we really need strong help and stuff. And so that's kind of the way we started our charity, was helping. We started helping young adults, and then we realized the biggest thing, the light bulb went off. And I realized that the most necessary thing that an 18-year-old high school graduate needs is an education. And in the foster care system, their parents can't afford an education for them. So that's why we formed this charity to provide scholarships. And the criteria is, one, they have to maintain a B average. Number two, they can go to a trade school, like a computer school or mechanic school or something like that. They can go to a junior college, or they can come to University of Nevada here at UNLV. And we assist them with either full scholarships or partial scholarships. And we give them that leg up that they need, is that education that they need to have. And then they're self-efficient, because they can go out and get a job. They can stand on their own 2 feet, and they can contribute to the society as well.
Now, is this for strictly only for kids who have been in the foster care system, or have you opened this up to other children who are 18 or older, or what's the?
For the most part now, we are concentrating on the foster care system. Sure. There's 2 foster care support groups that are here in Las Vegas, and so they know that not every kid's going to want to go to college, and unfortunately, not every kid is going to maintain the rules as well. So they know these kids inside and out, and there's a stiff interview process that they have to go through, and so. But they have to go to school here in Las Vegas. So that's how we kind of make it so that it works for everybody here. The one thing that—
So it isn't open for foster children nationally, really. It is focused on your Vegas area.
It really is, at least at this particular point.
Okay.
And so when people donate to our cause, our cause is managed by a foundation that, so we never touch the money. So it goes into a foundation. We have to write a letter to the foundation, tell them who to send the money to and why they're going to get it. And then we also have that foundation as our review team to make sure that we're kind of doing everything right. So,
sure.
And all of that. So, so it's, and it seems like in doing this for the last 11 years, about every 4 years, something weird happens. And we're in the middle of another weird thing right now. So it's like, come on, man, just let me teach the kids. That's all I want to do.
Well, we have to keep things interesting. Got to keep things interesting.
It does keep us on our toes.
Never boring.
Absolutely.
Well, it has been fantastic to hear more about you. I was trying to pull out of you in the very beginning to get some of the details of your stardom, but I couldn't get you to give it. So one last pull for some of the things that you were featured and started. It was more than a DoorDash commercial, people, I'm going to tell you.
Well, I was fortunate to do practically every episodic television there was out there. But the big thing was I spent 8 years on The Young and the Restless.
Ah, there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think that show may have won an award or two.
Yeah, it did. And so that was kind of cool. I'll tell you how I got into soap operas.
Yeah.
I got a call from my agent to go and do Days of Our Lives.
Ooh.
And it was like, whoa, man, Days of Our Lives.
Big time.
So I walked onto the set and gave a Gone with the Wind performance.
Go, Jon.
But I gave it to the wrong actor. And I realized at that point, I better start watching soap operas. And so went on, I did some General Hospital. I did some I did Bold and the Beautiful, I did Capital, and so like I said, I've worked with, because I was an athlete, I got a lot of Gatorade commercials, and I got to work with some superstars in the sports world as well too, and it's just one of those things where I was just so blessed to get up and realize and look at my day planner
Yeah,
back then
right.
and go, what am I going to do today? Oh, that's right. I'm working with so-and-so, and I'm working with so-and-so. And it was just, it was great. And I know that another thing, people want to know what advice would I give, or how do people get into the business and stuff. And
The business. I love that. The business.
and 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 so the thing is, you've got to have the desire, and you've got to be able to take rejection,
Oh,
because you will be rejected like you never understand. But that's the thing about it, is you're not being rejected because you're not a good actor. You may not be exactly what the producer and the director is looking for. And so when they say that, thanks, we'll uh, don't call us, we'll call you. um,
right.
and sometimes they call you for other things. They said, you weren't right for this particular part, but we think you'll be right for this particular part as well. And so it's so you just kind of work hard at it, and it'll go somewhere. It'll go somewhere. And if not, I say give yourself 4 years, just like a college education. And if you're not where you want to be at the end of the 4 years, you can always go back to making French fries at McDonald's.
Well, let's hope you've got a plan B that's a little different than that. But, okay, great advice from the amazing Jon Fondy. I want to thank everyone who spent the time to watch with us. I am very grateful if you show your love and appreciation with action. Action speaks louder, right? So like, share, and comment. You find the little hearts and share it with your friends. Tag some people, hashtag some things. Get it out there for us. Hashtag Vegas, right?
That is right.
And before we say goodbye to everyone, though, and a heartfelt thank you, I do want to ask Jon, I know you just gave us some Vegas advice, but overall in life, I like to ask my guests, is there a quote, a person that's inspired you, a book, something you do in your life that's a routine that has impacted your business or your personal life profoundly? Just give us one last a piece of gold, or a Vegas chip, if you would, before we say goodbye.
Well, sure. I think there's two chips I think I'd like to leave the audience with, and the first chip is just kind of get out of your own face, because it's not all about me.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get out of your own face and realize that there's other opportunities out there, and I think that is going to go a long way. And and realize that when things are really starting to get tough for you in whatever endeavor that you're going through, just remember in the back of your head, that means that you're getting that much closer to getting to where you want to be. And don't give up. Just don't give up. And the key to success is not running the marathon. It's putting that first foot in front of you and following that by that second step. And you'll get there. And we want to be there to cheer you on when you cross that finish line.
So I think one of the most important things we learned in this show, everyone, is if you can take rejection, but this acting thing isn't working out for you, you're perfect for sales. That's the good news. And number two is, if you have been in sales forever and you're so good at taking rejection, there might be an acting career in it for you too.
That is true. Absolutely.
So thank you again, the amazing Jon Fondy. Get yourself on Vegas, get yourself on networks, 100 plus streaming internationally. Sky's the limit, but you first have to get with my guy, Jon Fondy. I'm Jessica Koch, and this has been a profound professional interview. And until next time, we'll see you. Everybody be well. Thanks. Bye, Jon.
This is the Las Vegas Television Network. It's all Vegas, all the time.